Holy shit. Okay. Here is the message of the day. Don't fucking go to Chase Bank. They are the worst. They are the absolute worst. Holy fuck. Imagine trying to send your own money, and for 2 days you get stopped and stopped and stopped again. And then I get another call this morning, right fucking on time for the stream. And what do you know? They still won't fucking send it without a billion goddamn confirmations. It's like, holy shit. Fuck you. Fuck you to the moon. Fuck you to the moon and back down to Hades, you goddamn pieces of shit. Yeah, fuck Chase Bank. I don't know. Go elsewhere. I don't even know what good banks are nowadays, to be honest with you. Sorry, I'm very, very animated this morning. I'm very angry about this negotiating price with the exchange staff. Indeed, we are, Mr. Bear Nutrition. Indeed, we are. The price must be set by the exchange staff. They're in the background there. They're actually inputting the price on the charts right now. It's actually crazy what's going down. Anyways, yeah, plenty to discuss on the actual charts. Jesus Christ, man. It's like I haven't done any fucking work this morning just talking to these literal fucking lobotomites. I know we like to joke about lobotomites, but goddamn, these are real lobotomites. It's actually insane. Yes, Jeff B. Sir, are you sure it's your money? The amount of times I've heard this in the last 48 hours is offensive. It's really offensive, man. You got banned from Chase, Mr. M. Yeah, apparently a lot of people have issues with Chase. I haven't had issues with them at all up until now, but I think I triggered something in their system because I logged into my Chase account with a VPN, and ever since then they've just been like locking my account forever. I mean, it's just fucking annoying, man. It's like, guys, you don't understand, like VPNs are normal activities, you know? But yeah, I'm closing my account there. I'm going elsewhere, man. Take your fucking money and run to Klaus Schwab's account. Really good, actually. Honestly, it is really good. You can invest and you can have a bank account there. It's great. Stefan Milicevic says, switch from Chase to Capital One at 3 years and it's been flawless. Really? Okay, interesting, man. Yeah, I didn't. I don't really know much about Capital One, but I do need a real bank account. So, anyways, it is what it is, man. Yeah, J.P. Morgan acts like it's their money. I mean, because it is. When you deposit money into a bank account, you're a creditor. Like, they are in debt to you. It's not your money anymore. Like if you actually read the agreements and whatnot, it is quite literally not your money anymore. So yeah, fair enough, man. Yeah, you can't VPN on Chase. Yeah, man. It looks like I'm the last person to learn this one, but fair enough. I guess better late than never. But yeah, I'm going elsewhere, man. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm so fucking tired of it with Chase. Anyways, yeah, let's go look at some markets. Like I said, I haven't had too much time to prepare today because I've literally been on the phone all fucking morning just talking to all these different people, none of which can actually solve my issues, which is great. But yeah, starting off with traditional market SPY futures, I can see still we do have a lower high in place. And because there is a lower high and already a lower low, you know, there is potential for a real reversal here. I do like this buy up early on Friday, but again, the real reversal will be confirmed if Bitcoin, Jesus Christ, if SPY comes back down below last Thursday's low. Last Thursday's low was 67.51. That'll be my resolution point. I'll just mark it off right here on the daily low. And as long as you're above there, it does still have a chance here. You know, it is still overall bullish. It is still an uptrend on basically any time frame that matters. But if it does start to come back down below there, that would be my confirmation of a reversal, meaning that we got lower low and lower high, meaning, well, get ready for a move down, probably to test the 200 simple at this point, which is about 65.50, 65.60-ish region. Personally, I'd probably be buying there anyways. But yeah, that's kind of my conditions to be set. As of right now, though, this morning's low is just a retest of that yellow 21 EMA on the weekly time frame. So not like too fussed about this at the moment, but again, have to acknowledge when there is a lower high in place because that is the precondition to obviously a reversal. So it's close, but it's not quite there. And generally betting on the downside versus traditional markets is like not the best idea. But hey, I won't actually bet on the downside. I'll just capitulate on my long positions if it does take out this low over here. Looking at actually the probably more interesting chart right now is Dow Jones futures. This is the one that's been leading the market, and this is still looking like a higher low to me. So as long as this one remains bullish, you know, we can expect the traditional markets to continue with their general uptrend. Yes, it's going to be in varying degrees of strength and weakness. Obviously, techs right now, triple Qs is the one that is not getting the much love. This one's the one that's getting all the love right here. But again, you know, the daily time frame, I would actually be using the price action pivot beautifully set at 48,700. That is where the real reversal would happen if it were to violate below there. But for right now, you know, it's well above, and this is still a beautiful, massive, very lovely uptrend in which, you know, I do expect this one to head, you know, decently above $50,000. probably before we get the next like major high. But hey, last week's low basically, again, 48,506. If that gets taken out, I will capitulate on that view. Not that I hold this thing directly, but yeah, we'll capitulate on that view. And then of course we got NASDAQ futures over here. This one is absolutely the weakest as of right now. You can still see that it is trying to put in a higher low, but again, that same sort of reversal resolution point would be the same as the previous ones. Last Thursday's low, 24,239 and 3/4. Below there, big fucking problems. Big fucking problems. Let me plug in my phone. There we go. Yes. Yes, so big fucking problems, if it does violate that previous low. But like I said, if the other ones don't break down, this one's probably not going to break down as well. It's just not going to have as amazing returns. I'm still looking at this as overall a bullish formation, whether using closures or wicks in this case. We do have rising bottoms here with the same highs, so that would be the makings of an ascending triangle, which does have a higher probability to break out to the upside. And I still think that this thing is going to see 28,000 plus at some point. In fact, target probably is a little bit higher at this point, just because we do have a greater formation now, and something like this, if it were to break above the previous high from, I think it was a couple weeks ago, or January at least, yeah, 28,600, 28,700, somewhere around there makes a lot of sense. But it's gonna be a lot of waiting around, I expect, because this one is gonna be the least, the least interesting of the big three when it comes to traditional market indices. Of course, when we go over to gold, I'm still looking at this as a trap here, as long as you are below, especially last week's high, which was 51.19 on the price action pivots yet again. That is, that is your lower high. That is your traditional bull trap. It does bother. I definitely want to say that it does bother me that we have not seen this thing trade back up to 5,200 for a really obvious bull trap. So to me, it's like, do we still see this one maybe try one more move higher and then come down? I don't know. I guess it's looking less and less like that, because if this one is going to top out here, then I guess that is starting to shape up as that lower high. It's just, I wish it got a little bit higher personally. Not that I have the balls to play this thing, but if I did, I probably would have waited for that 5,200 tick and then perhaps entered into a short. But for right now, I guess if you're looking at this and playing the overall formation, then, that price action pivot at 51.19 is going to be that pivot point, meaning that as long as you're below there, I guess shorts are safe, but, it is taking its time after all. And generally probably does get another retest down around that green 55 EMA. Any sort of closures below there, that would be my next confirmation that, we do have not just a major swing high, but likely a macro swing high in there, with big bad price action anticipated to the downside over the coming, year or two, however long it takes. We've gone over the timing cycle of this. We've gone over the returns of this. We've gone over many different things. So I don't want to beat the dead horse or anything like that. But I do just want to repeat verbally that the timing of this is very appropriate, appropriately measured against the history of this, which, generally you've seen about 10-year bull market cycles in gold. And what do you know? This previous cycle began where? It began back in 2016 with the lows right here at 1,050. And what do you know? 10 years later, we are seeming to put in a top, again, on extreme volume. I mean, this is the biggest volume this asset has ever seen ever, or at least on this chart. I mean, maybe we can go to a different one. Maybe this one's going to have better metrics. No, perhaps not. But either which way, we are seeing extremes right here, and that is what you expect to see on these major highs. So I still think that is a good possibility to be a macro high, but for now, it's just a major high, not confirmed as a macro high until you're below about 4630-ish region, or sorry, 4650 price action pivots right there, right in front of my fucking face. How could I be so blind? Anyways, going over to Bitcoin, I think that the Rev and Ribbons continue to just accurately summarize this up. Super simple. Again, this indicator is now officially available to the public. The link is in the description below for Teachable. You can find it there. You just gotta, actually, I'll find it for you for a second, because it is a little bit confusing, to be honest. Like, we need a better way of doing this, but then again, I don't want my fucking description to just be like a full-on shill fest. But if you go over here, learn to trade in indicators, boom, that takes you to Teachable, boom, that takes you here. Then you have to go to view all courses, and then it'll give you the full catalog, of which the Rev and Ribbons are down here. The Ribbits, the old Ribbits. But yeah, this one's still getting things pretty damn well. Is Bitcoin going to test the mid band on the daily first, or is it going to try a downside move to $60,000 first? I don't know. It's kind of coin flip right here. I guess a little bit closer to the top side of that mid band at 71,620, or sorry, 71,520. If it does start to close above there, then I would actually anticipate a nice move to the upside, probably to like 76 or maybe $78,000. But until then, it's the same analysis as before. As long as Bitcoin is below the mid band on the Ribbits, I'm a frog, motherfucker, which happened over here at 93,000 bucks. Downside is a direction, and it's it's more likely to get walked between the mid band and the lower end of the short-term target, perhaps even all the way down to the dotted line right there. And that gives us a range of interest between about 60,500 to all the way down to about 54,500 bucks, which is where I still think you might get on a stray wick to the downside for Bitcoin. But I do think Bitcoin is really close to putting in a major low here. I'll discuss something that is somewhat new that could confirm as soon as tonight. So today is going to be the weekly closure for CME on Bitcoin, and this one has a chance to do two rather important things. One, we're going to potentially see weekly stochastic momentum continue to the upside if this thing finishes today, very specifically above 68,440. If that happens alongside what is an extreme fear read on the Pesto Fear and Greed Index, or as some like to call it, the flag indicator, then I still look at this as likely a major low, perhaps even a macro low forming. Again, that doesn't mean Bitcoin can't swipe lower. It absolutely can. I just wouldn't be expecting closing on the weeklies below last week's low, which is effectively 60,000 bucks even. So you might get a wick down to 55, close back above 60. That would be a beautiful signal in my book that, hey, this actually has the makings of being a macro low. For right now, it's just a major low. I do expect a bigger rally to emerge from here, but I do think it is range bound on whatever rally that we do get. I don't think you're going to see any sort of like major move back above 90,000 bucks anytime soon. In other words, like that is extremely unlikely to happen. What's more likely to happen is Bitcoin maybe rallies a little bit more from here, then comes back down, swipes the lows. Maybe that's later in February. Maybe that's early March. I don't fucking know, but I do think you will get another shot at those lows, or likely a little bit lower. And then if Bitcoin's going to put in, a macro low, you should be expecting to see one of those major massive hammers, the exact opposite of what we saw on gold over here when we were calling the high, this major high back in late January. So I'd be looking for the opposite but equal thing. Trade much lower, then close, slightly green or something like this. That would be a big signal for me, and a point at which I'd probably put even more money to work. Now, I've already bought low $60,000 territory, for full disclosure. This is a long-term, hodl investment position. I'll personally be holding it about 9 years from now. I would generally say, these are probably good value areas if you're going to be holding for at least 4 to 5 years. But if you're a trader, that doesn't really matter. It shouldn't matter, at least, because you shouldn't be thinking 5 years out. You should be thinking more about, the next week or two, or maybe even less than that. I'm still holding my short call spread. This one is just premium here, so I will be locking in this $17,600 maximum profit, barring any sort of crazy rally before end of day, back above 100,000 bucks. I think that's probably gonna be rather safe. Still holding the short $95,000 call strike right here as well. And the next position that I'm looking to do is a short put spread. If I get that signal that I just discussed on Bitcoin with a wick lower and then closing back above, if I see something like that, that would be a really good indication to me that I can safely put on, or likely safely put on a short put spread. But for right now, I'm gonna be waiting again. You've seen this before. If you've been following this channel now for the past few months, when I started to get back into options, that I'm happy to be very patient with these positions. When I take in options positions, it's I don't want to say it's like a sniper, because I fucking hate people calling themselves snipers and shit like that, because it's so fucking cringe. But patience. I'm looking for that perfect setup, basically. Until then, I'll wait around and, until we get something of that sort. And by the way, Bitcoin spot is going to be doing potentially the same thing as well. And this one actually a little bit more of an obvious read here. If the weekly closes above 69,435 on Sunday, because remember, the spot price for Bitcoin does not close the weekly until Sunday. It's not today, it's Sunday. But if it closes above 69,420 or 440, whatever the number is, alongside extreme fear reads right here, again, really good signal that Bitcoin is going to at least play out a long sideways range here with, probably some rallies into the deep 70s at least. I don't know, over the next month or two. But again, probably range bound. I don't think Bitcoin's V bottoming out of here or anything like that. I think if this thing does put in a macro low here, you should be expecting 2 to 3 months on the lows. That's just what Bitcoin's gotten in the past. I mean, the previous macro low over here from 2022 was what? It spent basically 56 days, nearly 2 months on the lows. And of course, we go back to the cycle previous to that in 2018. This one spent about 3 months. I remember this because it was really fucking boring from the actual low to the breakout. Yeah, 105 days. But it felt so. There were days where there was a $40 range, like a literal day of $40 range. It was unbelievable. And then, of course, 2014, this one spent a lot of time on the lows, actually. This one spent like half a year or more, I think. Sorry, it almost spent like the full year, about 280 days on the lows. So yeah, if it does put in a macro low there, it's going to very likely take a lot of time. This is not something that's going to be over and done with this week or this month, or probably at least I would say in the most optimistic of senses, Q2 of this year. So things are probably going to get a lot more boring again. I know that's not necessarily what people want to hear, but at the end of the day, look, my channel is not beholden to fucking, advertisers and shit like that. So I can say what the hell I want to say. And I genuinely think that that's the God honest truth here. You should be expecting some boring shit for Bitcoin. Even if you are bearish, you should be expecting some boringness from Bitcoin. Because why? Because Bitcoin likes to play out, 2 months or to 3 months long consolidations followed by like 3 weeks or 2 weeks of movement. And then it does the same thing over again, repeats that damn process. And, we just had 1, 2, 3 weeks of severe downside movement. Some of the biggest movements that we've seen on Bitcoin, actually, even historically, again, just price wise for sure. So boringness would be a good sign overall, but yeah, it's probably going to take its time, man. It's probably going to take a lot of time. Anyways, I've been massively feet deep, head deep, balls deep into guns recently. I have like fucking 3 uppers coming right now, so I'm kidding those out. I'm really excited about that. I've been having a lot of fun with that because I don't think crypto is going to be too much fun for the foreseeable future. But that's why we got stonks. That's why we got the stonks. That's where the fun is, man. That's where the fun is. Small caps and commodities are still the name of that's the biggest game in town right now. Can we call it 69,420 on Sunday? It could very well be Mr. Chad. It could very well be Mr. Chad. What happened to the pesto fear and greed? It's like literally right here. We already just spoke about it. It's right there, sir. It is giving you another fearful read with potentially a stochastic momentum across the upside, pending Bitcoin's closure above 69,420. If it can do that, credit to Chad on that one. If it can do that, then yeah, you got another setup here. Last setup that we had like this was pretty, pretty unimpressive, but still it did produce about a almost 11.5% move from signal given to the next high. So definitely tradable. Whether you're low term time frame or medium term time frame, 10% move is significant, I would say. So yeah, very likely does come up something like that. Great White High Pulse says matching up with previous 1 to 2 month stochastics, the bottom seems at least 6 months off. Could be, yeah. I'm guessing you're probably referring to some sort of a regression from the last few macro lows. Let's go verify that. I think just kind of going off of memory, you're probably right. So here's where it's put in the low, let's go over where did it put in the lows on the stochastic oscillator when it found previous macro lows. So that would be all of these green vertical bars. Oh, and this one, of course, as well. So let's mark this one off, huh? Yeah, there we go. Something like that. So, okay, this one started off, yeah, these first two pretty damn similar. Third one coming a little bit lower. Fourth one from 2022, very low. So probably somewhere down around here. If we follow this trajectory, that could be as soon as, yeah, I agree with you. It might be like June. It could be somewhere around June. But again, just wait it out, I guess. I mean, time will tell. I don't think there's a massive rush to get in position here. In other words, probably gonna have multiple chances, honestly. But yeah, going sideways at the lows for a long time, probably a good sign. But I mean, right now it has not been a long time at all. It's been a very short time, if anything. Anyways, let's go to the super chats. We got Steven Schickman first. He's got a new obsession, which is SOX, SOX. I believe this is semiconductors. So let's type it in properly. There we go. It's a 3x bear. Oh God, man, you really love these things. I'm seeing some big volume on these lows, which is probably going to be a low signal. I mean, look, it's long term. It's just a straight down chart, obviously, but it's a 3x bear on a asset that generally goes up. So we can expect that. I don't know. Do we expect a bounce here though? And semiconductors come down? It's probably easier to just look at semiconductors themselves. Something like this. Are these looking toppy here? Not yet, honestly. No, not yet to me. I think you might get a short-term pullback to like 77.50, but that's not a reversal. That would still be a higher low. That would honestly be an opportunity for a long, in my opinion. It's not bearish until it comes back down below last week's low at 75.17. Yeah, I probably would not want to try to play that long on the 3x bear version of this. If it got down below this low, then sure, yeah, of course, you're going to say, but Crown, I'm going to lose out on a lot of those profits. Yeah, but at the same time, you're not going to potentially get run over by this just monumental uptrend that's been going up for forever anyway. So I don't know, man. I really don't like those options, to be honest. Yeah, just my personal opinion, though. Orlando says, is anyone in the 1ETH NFT trading program? Are you talking about meta signals? Because 1ETH NFT trading program sounds a lot more sketchy than meta signals. Hopefully it's the right one, man. If it ain't meta signals, then I ain't involved. I'll put it that way. William Kiefer says, hola, mi amigo. FedEx on the daily and weekly, monthly, and monthly. Oh, pull back to 330s or heading higher to 400. It's always a fun game. Like which one first, higher or lower first? Let's see. All right. I don't think I've ever actually even looked at this thing. This thing's bullish, obviously. Is it going to come back down basically to retest the breakout point? I think lowest you get on a retest would be like 345, and I'm not very confident that you get that. I think this thing's bullish from here. So I'd definitely be betting on the $400 price first. I mean, overall, this thing's breaking out from, a 4 to 5 year long consolidation that began back over here in 2021. Yeah, I got to be betting on upside here. This is really good. It's really, really good. So yeah, spin-off of freight incoming. What does that even mean? Straight Path says, good morning, sir. Do you see iron going higher from here? Can I use my crystal ball to find the high price? I don't know, to find higher. I think overall, this is a good consolidation here as long as it's holding above the December low, which is 33.34. Do I think it's going to immediately bounce from where it's at right now? That I don't feel as confident about, but I do think that at some point it will try another move back up to like 58, 59 bucks. Maybe even it breaks out to the upside, but I do think that you will get another test to the top side of this range at some point. I don't know if that's exactly what you're talking about, but that's kind of where I think you do get that move in the next month or two, something like that, man. Yeah, it's overall good. I have no reason to be bearish on this as long as you're above the weekly price action pivot, which is 33.34 once again. Cool. Ty Hit says, good morning, sir. What's up, man? Could you check out ENB? Okay, ENB. All right, new one for me. Oh, is it the... I'm going to guess it's... Yeah. Oh, no, you're Canadian, so you're probably looking at Canadian shitcoins. Really good here. Really, really good. You're on higher term time frame. So yeah, this thing's breaking out right now. This thing is completing a breakout really from a consolidation that began in 2015. I mean, shit, man. Look at this. Look at this. Like, here's your consolidation. It's been consolidating for more than 10 years and it's just freshly breaking out. This is really good. I mean, for fuck's sake, man, this is great. This is really, really good. I would be looking at this thing to, over the course of the next month or two, hit somewhere around 90 bucks. And I don't know, probably gets a free ride to 100 after that. But, that might be like 3-4 months away. But overall, very, very good. I have nothing bearish about this as long as you're above last month's low from 62.42. This is really good. Breakout's real. Upside is the name of the game. And yeah, nicely done, sir. Tommy Dixon says, good morning, sir. What's up, ma'am? TLT ETF to 110 to 120 in 2026. I don't know. Let's see. 110 to 120. Oh, God, that would be a tremendous rally. I guess you do have a lot of bullish divergence here. I just don't know if technical signals work out that well on bonds. I guess the previous ones have worked out pretty well, so there is that. And generally, this should be a bouncy region. Because why? Well, you generally get a pity bounce when you get towards those previous, all-time lows, which you see over here from 02. So I do think that you will bounce. I don't know about 110 to 120, man. I think that you probably bounce up to like 95, maybe 100. I think that those are like high probability bounce targets. But 110 to 120, that would require an actual breakout out of the previous price action pivot, which is 101.64. So I wouldn't be looking at anything like that until you reclaim that number. And then, yeah, I think that you do get I think you at least get like 115 actually to 120. So yeah, but I do think you will bounce here, just maybe not that high. And I would only validate that move again if you move past that price action pivot at 101.64. Let's see. D Cowboys says, is that the Dallas Cowboys? Hi, sir. What's up, man? RSP weekly quarterly. Okay, RSP. Rapeseed. I saw that. Wait, what was it? Rapeseed futures. That sounds bad. Hold on. We need to do some investigation here. Well, it is bearish, actually. It's a pretty easy bearish call right there. Rapeseed. That's a terrible name for a fucking plant. Rapeseed. Jesus Christ. Who came up with that one? I can only imagine what that plant does. This is bullish, obviously. We are looking at a monthly and a quarterly. Just up, man. Just up. Up yours, sir. No, it's good, obviously. It's very, very good. General areas of interest to the upside about 210 and then 225. That's where I'd be looking towards. I think you'll at least hit 210. I don't know how long that takes. I don't know, maybe a few months or whatever, but yeah. Cool. Okay, so Great White Hype says Bitcoin monthly stochastics is far away historically. Got it. Okay. Well, I guess okay. Yeah, you mean like it's far away from where traditional lows have been. Well, yeah. I mean, it'd still take another couple months to get it back down around where these green vertical bars meet up, which most of them are right around here. Right around here. It's only 2022 that's significantly lower, but you can kind of extrapolate on this. So this will be the March open, and then maybe one after that, you should get down around there. Maybe it goes a little bit lower as well. You know, definitely possible, but yeah, I would say at least 2 months before you get into that zone. So yeah, you know, it could be that Bitcoin goes sideways here, tries a few rallies, fails a few rallies, then sometime in March, April, whatever, it gets a slam down, kind of the scenario that I was talking about earlier. But, you know, if it eats up most of February without moving too much, and especially March as well, I would look at that as a good sign as, you know, as well. D Cowboys is back. He says, 4-year follower. Hell yeah, sir. I'm struggling to not get caught up with the current gold narrative. Lol, do you ever break TA based on narrative or global conditions? I try not to, because at the end of the day, there's no edge in following the narrative and stuff like that. The narrative follows price, more or less. How many times have you seen good news, but bad things happen to price? And, you know, bad news, but good things happen to price. My point is that the justification comes afterwards, just like, you know, how humans decide something, right? We don't decide something based off of logic. We decide something based off of emotions, and then we validate it with logics. Like we just try to like backwards engineer it in our heads to make sense to ourselves. But for the most part, we do make our decisions based off of emotions. I know it sounds bad, but it is true, at least from what I understand from, from studying psychology. So it's kind of the same thing with following price and following narrative. It's like, price justifies the narrative, not the other way around, generally speaking. And price is, you know, it's the closest that we're going to be to this, you know, to these assets anyways. I don't know what the narrative is on gold right now. I think it's that, it depends who you ask, right? It's because it's so subjective. That's what makes it so difficult to follow, obviously. But if I were to conglomerate a lot of the things that I've been hearing around from the usual suspects who are, you know, normies, right? Normies, highly offensive term, is that, you know, China is recapitalizing with gold. The BRICS nations are, you know, trying to get many countries on gold. And so there's a lot of incentive to buy up gold. And then also the US is running up significant amounts of debt. And so the US dollar is no longer seen as like a steady reserve currency, and gold is kind of like the natural competitor to that. And, you know, I get that as well. I don't know, like all of these things can flip at a moment's notice. But in my opinion, I'm still looking at this absolutely as a major high for gold. I mean, that's already been confirmed. We got that pretty well in late January. What I'm not fully confirmed on is that this is a macro high just yet. Gold really needs to come back down below that February low to confirm for me. I personally think that it will be a macro high, but you know, I don't have the evidence just yet. So it is what it is, man. Anyways, we got J Meg next. He says, Ribbits. Wow. Actually pretty impressive move here. I wasn't expecting that. I'm definitely wrong on this one, because before I was looking for it to come back down to these lows. And so far, this is a higher low. It is getting rejected. I mean, it's not necessarily rejection just yet, but it is bouncing off of the 200 simple on the weekly time frame. So it does have a chance here, I guess. I'm still a little bit averse to this one just based off of the previous breakdown, but here's what I say about this. I will say that I will be absolutely wrong on this one if we see this thing start to close back above about 1870 on a weekly time frame. Until then, I still think that it probably does fall apart here. But yeah, I would be happy to admit that I am absolutely wrong if this thing closes above 1870 on a weekly time frame. At that point, that validates this as the next higher low, and this is continuing. This is a continuing uptrend. Until then, yeah, a lot of things can happen between now and the end of the month. So I'll hold off on any further analysis. You know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That'll be great because it'll, you know, probably a lot of upside, but just be aware. If this thing really starts to come back down again below like 16 and a quarter, I'd feel very strongly that, yeah, this is bearish, and it does come back down to these lows at like 11, 12 bucks, whatever it is. So yeah, it's kind of how I look at this one right now, but there are some good signals here for sure. Hidden bullish evidence on the weekly. And I mean, it is a higher low right now. So, and it's also a bullish engulfing on the bi-weekly if it closes here or higher. So yeah, I very well might be wrong on this one, but until I get that confirmation, I would still be going with what I said earlier. You know, probably going to fail there, but it has a chance. I mean, look, 3 hours, 46 minutes and 52 seconds left in counting. If it closes here or higher, it's going to start to look pretty good, actually. So yeah. All right. Let's see. Whoopsies. Oh man, I skipped over a bunch of people. Sorry. Rob Rain. Hold on. Is it Rob Ridier? Sorry. God, man, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to call you Rob before I butcher your name any further. DVLT. Data Vault. Good name. A bad chart, but good name. I don't look, man, you might get pity bounces here, but it's like playing down only shit coins. Like you get these bounces every once in a while, but you know, long term, you can just bet on downside. I personally think that you just saw the top of another macro high here at $4.5. I think this thing is down only from here. Here's a real, this is just garbage, man. It's absolute fucking garbage, but I don't know. Do you get a rally in the short term to like 110 again, and then it comes down? Maybe. I think my strong bias is just on downside here. Downside is what I'd be betting on. Does it get rallies in between? Probably, but it's just a very difficult game to play in the same way that shitcoins are a difficult game to play. But yeah, you know, in the short term, if it tries to move to like $1 or 110, whatever, I still think long term it's coming down significantly more. Let's see. Aiden's says Lulu. Is this Lululemon? God, Elsa should buy this shit with the amount of fucking Lulus that she owns. Levels to cut exposure. Basis is 169. Okay, so you're in profit a little bit. I honestly think you're coming off the 200 simple here. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it here, but I also do have a major aversion to, you know, fading the 200 simple, especially on kind of a base like this. I would cut some right now just to reduce exposure because I do think that this one will break down given enough time. Do you get a bounce before that? I think that's the real question that you're asking. And if you do, I think you get maybe like about $200, but I really wouldn't get too cute with these things, man, because I think that this thing wants to come down a lot more. It just might be sticky at these current levels. Yeah, you probably get a rally at some point to like 200, maybe even as much as 250. I think that's like a HOPIUM target, but like a realistic HOPIUM target. But down is the name of the game. So okay, when I'm in these sort of positions, I like to cut some right here because it is a strong downside bias. You might get that rally, you might not. If you do, great. If you don't, at least you got rid of some here. That's how I would play it. Of course, you're free to do whatever the hell you want to do, but I do think that this thing will break down further at some point, probably coming down to like 125 or maybe even 100. Yeah, pretty ugly here. Yeah, I personally would cut it here, but I'm very risk averse. So understand my perspective. You might get that rally to 250. I think if you do it, it's a gift from God. Personally, you're already in profit a little bit. I think you can always reposition low if you really want that long position again, man. Chris Vela says already daily weekly. Okay, this sounds familiar. Oh yeah, it's this thing. Okay, AI and tech. Ooh, this is a good one. Oh yeah. Okay, I love my AI and techs. Okay, what exactly is it? Future AI and tech. There's like a million of these fucking things, man. It's hard to keep up, but yeah, this one I like. I like this one for sure. Now, do I like it right now is a real question, because stalling at that previous high can be a bad time, but I would still play it bullishly as long as you're above last week's low at 47.5 bucks. I would confirm bullishness back above yesterday's high on a daily closure, and at that point should break out to new all-time highs and just be like a real breakout. The problem with these things is that when you stutter around the previous high, there is potential that, you come back down into the range, and, it's probably still bullish long term. But, my fear is that if you do get rejected here again, it's going to be something like this, where it comes down significantly to like 40-ish, goes for a higher low, and then tries your breakout. Because that is very possible. But for right now, I would be bullish right here. It is in a strong position, objectively speaking, and I would be having a bullish bias that this thing is going to break out as long as you're above that previous week's low at 47.5 and change, or whatever the fuck it is. Hold on, 47.36 or 47.38 to be exact. Anyways, Hip Hop Anonymous says Rocket Mortgage Daily. How about a ticker, man? It's gonna, oh god, Rocket Mortgage. Sir, ticker. Whoops, I can't spell right. Rocket Mortgage. Okay, send me a damn ticker. Maybe it's this. So it's yeah, finance company. Yeah, so that's probably it. In the future, tickers though. Tickers are good. I don't know on this one. Yeah, I don't know on this one. I'm inclined to say bullish as long as you're above the November low of 15.5 bucks. That's if you put a gun to my head and say play this thing. I'd say that makes sense to me. But I don't feel very confident about this one. I don't feel that I have a good read on this one, and I always want to be very honest when I see something like that. I know it's not what you want to hear, but I just don't. It is an uptrend right now, so should have a bullish bias, but at the same time, I mean, this, if it's going to get rejected anywhere, it would be from that $22.5 high. So yeah, technically you can play this one to the upside. Your natural stop is going to be 15.5 bucks for the long term. If you're on the monthly here, if you want to play that, that's up to you. If you are okay with that risk, I wouldn't play this one personally. I think that there's just easier games in town right now, man. Anyways, one moment. Jose Munoz says, "Hey Crown, what's up, man? Just wondering, do you update your Crown Trading Bible with new strategies or new setups that you learned?" Yeah, of course. In fact, that whole program has now evolved into like, dude, it's evolved into like fucking 3 or 4 times the original size of it. It originally started out as just like a quantitative analysis program. And then I decided, like, I don't like that I have this Teachable school over here that has like a million fucking courses on it. Like, it doesn't feel right to me. So I wanted to put everything into one. And that's what the Crown Trading Bible is. And it's just like, it's a legacy course at this point, you get quantitative analysis, you get classical TA, you get classical trading, quantitative trading, you get options, strategies, and live option trades, and psychology, and long-term long-term trading as well. So that's where I just shove everything into. It's basically the one and only program that I want to have. I am actually in the process of completing a significant content upgrade to it. I'm not going to raise the price based upon that, by the way. The price will stay the same. The price has actually gone down over the years. It hasn't been following inflation. Inflation's, oh God, what is this now? Fuck. Hold on. This one I need to take. One moment. Hello? Guys, it's another day and another bullshit. Always another day and another bullshit. God damn, man. It's absolutely overwhelming. Like, the one thing I want to do in life right now is just focus on work. Every fucking issue that could possibly arise arises. Home ownership is not all it's cracked up to be. It is a constant battle against fucking moisture. Oh, God. I need to revisit all my choices. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, all right. Yes. Okay. So to answer your question, Jose Muniz. Yeah, of course I do update it. And sorry, the point that I was getting to is that I'm in the process of making a massive content upgrade for it as well. I'm very, very close to finishing it. Of course, I get more fucking calls like this that make it so that I have to focus on something else. Really fucking annoying. God damn it. But again, that will go live another week or two. I'll probably have it done. But I'm really, really excited about it. It's basically going to be quizzes for all of the educational content in that program to ensure that, like, people who actually, you know, are trying to learn this can test themselves and then validate that they actually have learned it. I don't really know of anyone else kind of doing that with their own programs. So hopefully we can differentiate ourselves that way. Anyways, Hemp Chew 4535 says, following since 2019. Holy fook. Good to see you, man. I'm into a long-term trading. Oh, you're transitioning into a long-term trader. Yes. But I see opportunities in other assets with little to no dry powder. Curious what you do. Well, for me, this is not my situation. I do still maintain a trading account. It is rather small at this point compared to what it's been historically. And then the bulk of my stuff is in an investment account. You could do a similar thing, you know, just pull out a small amount if you really want to scratch that itch. But again, you know, it comes down to your preference. Like, what are you trying to do? What do you want to do? Because obviously, if you do want to focus primarily on being a long-term investor, if you truly want to transition into that, then, well, that means that you're going to forego naturally those opportunities on the short term. And, you know, if you're okay with that, that's great. If you're not, then maybe you should, you know, siphon off a little bit of money and keep a small trading account. I do that personally, but, you know, if that's your situation, then go ahead. And if that's not, then, you know, I mean, personally, unless you really, really, really just want to scratch that itch, I would probably just keep it in the investment account, because you can't do everything all at once. You know, to choose to do one thing is to cut off all of the other options. So decide what you want to do. And look, it's completely fine if you want to siphon off a little bit of money to be a shorter term trader. But if you want to be most effective with your long-term investments, of course, you know, the money that you have in right now compounds, or the longer that's compounding, the better it is going to be for you. So, yeah. I can't make that decision for you, man. I can only tell you what I'm doing. RKGH says, Crown, wolf me daddy. Okay. What weekly closing price would confirm a breakout? Just double top today. Will lower timeframes bleed lower? I don't know. Let's see. So this is terrible. No, I don't think this is terrible just yet. So price action pivot here is actually perfectly getting this. This is 1675. If it can close above there today, that validates the breakout. I still think that this thing's in a very strong position and probably does break out, but hey, that's the validation for it. And until you actually close above there, you know, it is subject to failure, obviously. So yeah, 1675 would be the answer, sir. Well, lower timeframes bleed lower. Has a move failed? I don't think it's failed just yet, man. I mean, still, even if you came back down to, like, you know, 1390, you still got a higher low there. So right now, if you're bullish, you're basically playing this as the price action pivot's actually got the trend line extensions perfectly on this one. You know, it's like a triangle of some sort. So your higher lows, you know, does give a bullish bias here, obviously. Again, validated, most importantly, above 1675. You're not that far away from there right now. So no, I don't think it's done just yet. Still in a strong position. So look, I'd give it a chance, honestly. I'd really only get bearish on this thing if you came back down below the February low of 1173.5. That's where this thing actually does confirm bad news bears, I guess. Yeah. Noah Recent says IPOAF. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, kind of a weird one here. Last month really faded the breakout hard, it looks like. I don't know on this one, man. I don't know on this one. I should be bullish because he did close above that previous swing high over here on January's closure. So it should be a bullish bias overall, but in the short term, it's more of a consolidation. And that consolidation probably does try and move lower to 58 bucks at least. You know, perhaps something like this. Boom, boom, boom. And if it, you know, if you do bounce from there, that's probably a good sign. Where would I let go of my bullish bias? That would have to be below about 48.5 bucks. So you're kind of far away from that right now. It's not that helpful, obviously, or let's just say 50 bucks makes it a little bit easier. Just kind of a weird looking chart right here. Trades OTC as well. So you always kind of got to be skeptical of OTC shit. It's the same thing as like altcoins, you know, better to assume skepticism rather than just clear fucking rake out here. But technically it is bullish. Just that's where my line in the sand would be. Kind of a bizarre looking chart in the short term though. Devald says, hello, LAC, Stonk, Daily Weekly, gotcha, man. Okay, LAC, Lithium Americas Corporation, amazing. Yeah, I believe we looked at this. We've looked at this in the past. I'm still looking at this as a rejection here. I'm looking at this as more likely to come back down to these lows at 2.5 bucks. Is it going to be straight down from here? I don't know about that. If you're on a daily and a weekly, you might get a bounce before that, but I do think that you come down there at some point. Yeah, you probably do get another bounce here though. You know, you're breasting on this same area that's provided the bounce for the last, you know, couple months since November. It's also the 200 simple on the daily. So I don't know, could easily bounce again, something like this, but I still think that these LARP lines are probably correct. It's going to break down at some point, back down to these lows. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and you'll know that I'm wrong because it pops back up above your January swing high at 694. Until then, I think that you do get a bounce here. I just think that it's going to be, you know, a failure of a bounce and comes back to this. I mean, this is objectively a bearish chart. So I'm going to lean towards downside. And I think the quarterly speaks for itself as well. This thing, whether it bounces or not, again, long term, it wants to come back down to low $2. Pretty bad long term. Devald says SPX, okay. All right, daily, weekly, gotcha. Stitch Fix, very bad. It's like you chose two of the same shitty charts, sir. Down and down only, man. This one's coming back down to like $3, probably even low over time. Probably just makes new lows. This is terrible. This is absolutely fucking terrible, man. Absolutely fucking terrible as a chart. Not you as a person, but this is a chart. Very fucking bad. Very fucking bad. Yeah. Down only, man. Down only. In the short term, do you get a bounce? Maybe. I don't know if that's relevant to you or not, but long term, if we're on the monthly, quarterly, or higher, it is down, down, down again. Does the daily bounce though one more time? I don't know. Maybe. Probably. I just don't know if that's relevant to you, man. Closing this week out below 389 or, yeah, about 389. I don't care what bounce you get. This one wants to come down. So whatever bounce you get is probably going to get faded pretty hard. Jack says, it's also like an itch you just can't scratch. I don't know what that means, but yes. Ben Duman says, love you, Elsa and Crown. Appreciate that, man. SoFi and now, just one shitcoin at a time, sir. SoFi right here. Jesus Christ, I've gotten a million damn messages. This is insane. What is going on, for real? All right, well, whatever. It's not that, it can't be that important. Yeah, the reversal is real here. At the same time, you probably got a pretty nice bounce here, but this is a major top here. Yeah, you didn't give me time frames to go off of, so I don't know how to make this most appropriate to you. I don't know. You might get a short-term bounce, but it's kind of like the previous chart that we looked at. Down is the direction. In the short term, you might bounce again. I think, you know, in a perfect scenario, you might bounce back up to like 23.5, 24 bucks, but this is an objective reversal. But yeah, it should bounce here a little bit. I mean, you're coming off the monthly 21. And actually, I hold off on the long-term bearish call for right now. Let it bounce first. It should bounce for a while first. I don't think that you're going to V bottom out of here to the upside. I also don't think that you're just going to crash back down to like 14.5 just yet. It's probably going to do a lot of this in the short term. Or I guess before oh wow, holy shit, before I had it coming all the way down here and then bouncing. I guess I was a little more bullish on it, but let it bounce. This is going to take many months, man. If you want to play a position, it's not terrible because your natural risk management is going to be about 18 bucks. So you don't have to risk that much to figure out if you're going to be right or wrong. Should bounce here. kind of leaning towards general downside after that, but when I look at the higher term timeframes, I don't feel that. I don't feel as confident on the long term downside. I think I might be wrong on that. So yeah, should bounce here, and if it is indeed bullish, this should be the low if it is bullish. So yeah. Again, it's not like it's guaranteed to work out. It's just an easy setup because you got a very natural stop loss area at around $18. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful, man. Crypto Moon Base says, oh, you want to look at gold on Bybit? Yeah, we can look at that really quickly. One moment. It shouldn't be that much different than like the traditional gold chart, right? Yeah, I mean, these really are the same charts, but they do have slightly different numbers. Here's the one on Bybit, and 4-hour time frame. If you're specifically looking at this, you're saying 4-hour and 30-minute look at 50, 55 as a short entry. So you're basically trying to short the top side or somewhere around here. Yeah, I mean, you still got to. I mean, that would be a lower high to be fair. If you're going to play a position like that, I think that that's fine. Again, not because it's guaranteed to work out, even though I do lean to the downside on this thing, but you just have a super obvious invalidation. That's back above 5,100, the highs from Wednesday of this week. So what, you have to risk $50 to figure out if you're going to make, I mean, you probably got another move down at least to like 48.50. And I mean, realistically, if this is the top, it's going to come down to like, low 4,000s. I like setups like that, man. You don't have to risk too much to potentially make a big gain. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed to make this one, but again, above 5,100, okay, capitulate, take the loss, all good, on to the next one. But until then, yeah, you got to set up right there. I see what you're seeing. Yeah, I don't hate it. Mr. Aaron, what's up, man? Would you please look at Tether dominance? Let's check it out. I think this one's backing off from our 9% target. Yeah, and it probably backs off a little bit more. So that probably does give a little bit of a reprieve to Bitcoin in the short term. I think that this thing at some point over the next week or two reconnects with the 5 EMA and the weekly. Monthly, same thing. You retest these prior highs, sold off from those. These are common things, but it is overall bullish. So don't make any mistake about it. This is long-term bullish, but short-term, I do expect it to consolidate lower. Yeah, at least like 745, maybe even as low as 690. I do think that you could see that thing down around there before it tries the next upside move. So yeah. You want to look at Ethereum dominance? Why? It's not very dominant. Yeah, man, this is a macro lower high right here. This thing is coming down bigly. Very bad, very bad, sir. Yeah, Crypto Moonbase says, yeah, 5,100 is my stop. Yeah, I see the position. I see the setup. I think it's a fine as a setup. I don't know if it's guaranteed to work out, like I said, but as a setup, it's good. I think it's fine. Nobody cares. 424 says, nobody cares. Oh, man. XDWO, X Trackers World Energy. Nice breakout, though, generally on energy. I don't like plain energy personally, so that's all you, man. But, oh, it's W0. Okay. Oh, this is on LSE. Yeah, big breakout right here. Big breakout right there. I don't know where it's going, but it's going up. I don't know, probably gets like $80-$90. Yeah, hard to say anything else. Trey only says update on CVX. Probably still bullish unless if something significant has changed. Don't have anything new to update here, man. This is bullish and bullish as fuck. Short term, it probably pulls back a little bit, but I think that this thing continues with the mega rally not soon after that. Actually, I might take a small position at like 175. I don't like Chevron as a company because they have very high diesel prices. But as a chart, it's great. It's a really good chart long term. I don't like their fucking business. They have some of the highest gas prices around here. I'll tell you how some of the lowest ones. It's oh fuck, I'm blanking on the name. No, what's the name? Completely blanking on it right now. It's not K Circle, but they actually do have decent prices too. But it's something else, man. Oh, fuck. This is going to bug me for a while until I drive by them later and remember, oh, yes, that one. Tesla on the weekly for Great White Hype. Sure, man. As always, full disclosure, I do own this one, or probably own a lot less of it right now. I mean, to be honest. Still at 420. Still have to look at last week's low as a potential higher low until proven otherwise. That's still my bias. That is still my sort of line in the sand on this thing. Technically, the price action pivot is a little bit lower than this. I don't think that you need to wait for that. Any sort of a closure below last week's low at 387 would be bad. Until then, long term, it's just consolidation at the highs. It's good. I think it just takes its time. Circle K is not top tier. Chevron is. I mean, in terms of charts, probably, but Chevron, I don't know, man. They got a lot higher prices around here. Don't put that B20 biodiesel in your new truck if you can help it. Luckily, we don't even have that around here, man. We just got diesel number 2, and I like it. Cars, Crypto, and Conspiracy says home defense or truck gun. Daria tactical shotguns, Max or MK. I don't know, man. I'm an AR master race. An AR-15 master race follower. I only have AR-15s, man. I don't know. I feel like I just shoot those a lot better, and I feel like if I'm gonna have any gun for any purposes, I'm just gonna make it like a if it's gonna be a truck gun, I'll get like a fucking 8-inch barrel for an AR-15 and do it that way. But I don't know. Do I even really need that? Probably not. So it's fun though. Get to LARP as a as a tough guy. It's pretty fun, but yeah, at the end of the day, still a LARPer. Derek Dombrowski says, coin general thoughts. Do you think 140 price as a good entry? Sold at 240, but looking to re-enter at some point. Fair enough. Is 140 a good entry price? I think you're actually about to bounce right here, man. You got bullish evidence on this low, and you had an attempt to go lower this week, and it's actually reversing right now. So I think if you're trying to play that bounce, it's actually, yeah, you saw that at like 140 or the 140 low. I think you at least bounce up to like 190 from here. So there is that. I don't know if you're trying to trade this. I don't know if you're trying to hold this for a long time, but for a trade, I think that this is fine. If you're trying to hold this for a long time, a little bit more difficult, obviously, because this thing has lost its luster long term, but should bounce here nonetheless. So it depends on what you're trying to do. I think that this bounce will get you up to like 190-ish, something like that. Folding AK for truck. I do actually have an AK like remake, but it doesn't fold, unfortunately. It's a top tier gasoline, has extra detergent to clean engine. Okay. Isn't that just marketing? What's marketing? What the fuck? What am I reading? Oh, okay. This is all about gas. I have diesel, guys. Shell. Yeah. No, Shell. I think Shell is the least. I think Shell around here is actually the least expensive. Maybe I have this all mixed up, man. Make sure you get your first oil change before 1,000 miles. Wait, really? Even for a diesel? Because my oil apparently, I mean, I don't know. I thought it would last for like 3,000 miles or more. If the macro low is in around $60,000, will the blue buy signal fire off, confirming the macro low? I'm not sure if I put too much faith into the hash ribbons indicator anymore. You haven't really heard me speak about it for a long time, and that's just because I haven't found it to be that great as of recent. What did I usually use for this? Maybe it was this chart. Because these aren't updating. Okay. Yeah, I mean the previous buy signal over here, this one obviously did not work out. It's failed. It's failed. Yeah, it's objectively failed. If it fires off, I guess it's an overall good sign, but this thing, when things start to fail, I just throw them into the garbage after that point. That's why you don't hear me talk about it too much. Obviously it would be a good sign if it did happen, but I wouldn't purely be going off of that anymore. It's just, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? I imagine for Shell, you'd wait for a confirmed breakout. I don't know. Let's see. Shell. Oh, this trades on, it's a fucking European stock. What? No, this is probably the different. Yeah, this is probably a different one. I don't see it. I don't see a. Yeah. Check out Motor Oil Geek. If it's brand new, you want it first. Oh, interesting, man. Okay. I'm already at 2,000, so I'm fucked. It's all over for my truck, man. It's all over. I love my AKs, the Simple Jack. Yeah, they are pretty awesome, but it is funny. Like here in the West, we think AKs are like super cool and super exotic, but from what I hear over in the East, they just hand them out like fucking candies. Crazy, man. RIP accumulation. Yeah, I threw away the accumulation distribution indicator like back in 2024. Yeah, it's just look, once it fails, for me, the edge is no longer there. So that's why I just don't talk about it anymore. I understand that some people, still want to go off it, and that's fine, but that's just my rule. So it's my rule for me. Thoughts on Amazon? Yeah, let's look at it.
It's great.
It's a great company, among the best companies of all time. Lots of bearish divergence on these last few highs. I do think that this one will reach lower before it finds a low, probably closer to 175. Somewhere between, I would say on the upper end, 190 and as low as about 175. I think that's where you get your next higher low. Long term, obviously, I love it. And as a company, I love it. But yeah, also you got bearish divergence of, 3 drives variety on the quarterly here too. So yeah, I think you probably do see this thing come down closer to 170. I don't think you're going to bottom at 190. Just personal opinion, but yeah. Hopefully it does find a higher low at 170 or 175. Netskazum says Oklo. Okay. Does this say stonk or a crypto? It's a stonk. And I think it's coming down, man. I think she be coming down. Overall, I do think that this thing will come down further over time, but if you're not long-term, that's not going to be that relevant to you because you're probably going to get a bounce in the short term back up to like 71.5. And I think that's probably where you're going after because you're asking for a 4-hour time frame. Mr. Spliv the bear. Bitcoin uptick of HOPIUM. Will it sustain the upside momentum or crash and burn and flame? I don't think that this move is going anywhere, to be honest with you. I really don't think it's going anywhere to the upside, past like low 70s, nor to the downside, to like significantly new lows, especially on a closing basis. I think that all moves you get from here are likely to fail for continuation in either direction. I think best case scenario to the upside in the short term is like 75. Worst case to the downside is maybe like 55 on a straight wick, but I think you're in for a lot of sideways boringness here. But it is good to see you, man. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I know yours. It is in the name. It is in the name. Yeah, Derek Dombrowski says, yeah, saw Coinbase at 140 this morning, was going to get an entry, and then went to work and didn't see the 17% rally for yeah, I know. It always happens like that, man. But yeah, I think right now is a time for a short-term bounce, not for continuation of new lows. Yeah, you probably at some point get another run at 140, but I don't know. Next time it tests there, it might not hold, man. Bitcoin dominance. Could we have a mini alt season? How do we flush this person? I don't think, look, Bitcoin dominance does not matter for a very long time. And I just don't know who needs to hear this at this point because so many people are fucking obsessed with this shit. If you don't get it by now that Bitcoin dominance is not telling you what you think it's telling you, I don't know what to tell you. Bitcoin dominance was straight up for a long time. Then it came down in July, August of last year. Did altcoins get any bid? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what this thing is doing. The best chart to look at if you want to figure out if your shitcoin is going to have any potential hopium of rallying is literally your shitcoin versus the dollar chart. Not the fucking Bitcoin dominance chart is completely irrelevant. So many people are focused on this because they think it means it's going to get alt season or shit like that. That has not been the case for a very long time. And even the calculations of this are very crude to begin with. I mean, for fuck's sake, man, Bitcoin dominance is looking at every last little shitcoin, of which millions are created, over the course of months or years. So you add more and more and more and more to that, to the equation. Does it actually change Bitcoin's dominance versus those alts? No, you're just adding more of these shitcoins to that equation. And again, if you want to figure out if your shitcoin's bullish or not, just look at it versus the dollar. Just look at it versus the dollar, man. Let's see. Dark House MM says, just watching your gold trap video, I think the relentless demand from Asia BRICS will keep gold going higher, especially when Lunar New Year and holiday next week is over 5.5 next, I think. Fair enough. That's why we have markets, so we can disagree with each other. What the fuck is that? Bitcoin going to languish for some time until Wall Street decides to rotate back into it. Okay. You seem to have very interesting ideas on narrative. Yeah, probably is going to languish for a while though. AXTI daily and full hour. Sure. They make the wafer substrates for semis. What the fuck? AXTI. We'll Well, I have no idea what the hell that means, but it sounds cool. 4-hour time frame. It's a general uptrend, as is the daily. Should be bullish on the short term, though. It is bullish long term, objectively, absolutely, no doubt about that. The question to me is, do you consolidate a little bit lower first and then go higher, or do you just go higher from here? I'm inclined to say you do consolidate lower around like 21.25 first, but I can be wrong about that super easily. Yeah, objectively higher term time frames are still bullish here, but I am inclined to say that in the short term, it will pull back more first, and it's not going to like scream through another breakout here. In fact, I think when I look at the monthly, this thing's going to spend a lot of time going sideways, you know, between 20 and whatever the highs of this month. And it's just going to be kind of boring. Nobody cares 424. If you're asking yourself, is my altcoin bullish? It's not. Newsflash, it's not. I'm replacing that pinned message, baby. That's a fucking comment of the day. Look, there are obviously some shitcoins that can be bullish. You know, there's millions and millions of these things. So naturally, like a handful of them will be bullish on any given day. But yeah, I generally agree with you. Like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It's just, it's not the same. It's not it. It's not it. Your thoughts on Circle as an investment? I do want to get in a position to it long term, but certainly not here. Whoops. RCL. There we go. Yeah. I have alerts set down around, I think it was like, oh, I don't even have alerts on this one. Yeah. I don't think that this thing's found a low yet. I would like to pick it up when it does form a low, but it's nowhere near that right now. It's nowhere near that. I think that this thing could get down to like $40 before that happens. Yeah, I am still thinking of building a position, but just as before, I'm not doing it here. This has just been a monumental downtrend, and it's below the IPO lows now. So this thing's going to be down for a long time. I'm probably not going to put any money to work in this thing for, I would imagine it's going to take like another year, you know. I'm in no rush, but it is on my list. I would like long-term, but I need to see what I want to see first. And this is absolutely what I would not want to see. It's like literally the fucking... the opposite of what I want to see. Circle IPO was $31. Yeah, I mean, but its opening price was about 63, so more than double that. But yeah, does it come back down to the IPO? It's looking like it. I think you're going to get very close to that, at least. Been listening since 2018. Fun times to Swalomir. Hell yeah, man. Fucking yes. Fucking yes. The market's crazy right now, says Mr. Escobar. Indeed it is. Your business, Pablo Escobar, is also very crazy. Okay, actually, we'll do a last one here for WMT, for Bryce Pinko's. WMT, there we go. Walmart, nice. Also highly sought after company by Finnish people. Bullish as fuck, man. I don't know how much more this rally has to go, but I do think it is going higher. You know, when you get into crazy territories like this, there's not a ton of great ways to get targets, but I do think you'll at least get around like 139, 140. I think if things get really crazy, you do see like a 155 tick, but you know, it does still have higher to go. Last week's low is a very obvious invalidation point as well. I would just let it do what it's doing, man. It wants to go more up. So yeah. All right, cool, man. I think we're going to end things right there. We do have some errands to get to today, but it's been an absolute pleasure as always speaking with everyone on this nice little Friday morning. Tomorrow I'm going to be working on, actually no, tomorrow we're going to the Renaissance Festival. Yeah, I'll probably release another video on Sunday. I want to get to work on a few more of the projects here. I really want to get that free TA 101 playlist out because that's important, but then I can start to work on the options 101 playlist because I do want to update that. Of course, if you still want to learn options, like you can still watch the old the old options 101 playlist. These things are completely free and they're still relevant. It's just, you know, it just looks old right now because like it was created like 7 years ago. But it's still very much relevant. I just want to update it personally, but yeah, I'm really hoping to work on this and get these things finished soon. So yeah, anyways, wishing you the best as always. There he is, Mr. Caretaker. Good morning to you as well, sir. Anyways, take care. Much